Hey, it's Nikki back on Working Forward, and today I want to replay an episode. The topic is around believe you can. I must believe that I can in order for me to truly be that leader that helps others believe they can. I had a big realization through a coaching session recently. I did an assessment called the SQ21. It's a spiritual intelligence assessment. And one of the topics on the assessment was around compassion. And I scored low in compassion. And I was like, what? I I was just so kind of taken aback because I feel like I'm a very compassionate person. I do so much to help, others understand that I see them and I feel for them. And the realization for me was that I am not compassionate myself. I'm not compassionate to myself. I'm not practicing compassion for me. I'm doing it for others, but I'm not doing it for me. I'm being really hard on myself, and that's been a theme. It's this mirror that we have to look in to really understand what's going on the inside, because whatever that is definitely showing up on the outside, and we can't be to others if we aren't that ourselves. And so it's been making me think about believe I can. Do I believe I can? I do. I do believe I can. That is one thing that I will say I have always had a knack for, is when I find this thing and I do these things, like I do believe in myself. But I started to think in this series how important it is from this exercise that I did around compassion, and realizing it's not about me being compassionate to others, but me being my very best in being compassionate to others is really about my compassion for myself. And I had to spend some time looking in the mirror. And so I challenge you to think about, do you really believe in you? Do you really? And maybe this episode will help you go a little bit deeper in that. And I wanted to bring it back for us. I'd love for you to hit me up on anything that you take away from this. I think it's so important in order for us to go out and achieve the dreams and help others do that and be the leader for other people. We have to do that in our work. And what does that mirror hold true for you right now? What are you seeing that you really need to prioritize to help do for yourself? So I hope this gives a little inspiration, and I hope you enjoy this episode on Believe You Can. I'm going to listen to it again myself. When you're going to sleep, the last few things that you're letting in your mind, even when you're asleep, the things that are running and that your subconscious mind hears, is programming your brain. You're listening to Working Forward, a future of work focused podcast from People Forward Network. These episodes pave the road ahead, helping us confidently step into the future as a leader who moves people forward. Let's go. Hey, it's Nikki, Lewallen, Gregory, and this is the Dream Chase and Lead Others to Dream series. This episode is intended to inspire and challenge you and me. Let's design our ideal life, define our dreams, believe in ourselves, and go take action. Now, let's get to it. All right, let's go keep chasing some dreams together. So excited about this initiative. Our second episode in this series. And today we are going to talk about believing we can. Want to take a step back and just talk about last month's episode on what keeps us from dreaming. Because in case you missed it, or you didn't take some time to work through this for yourself, it typically breaks down to fear, lack of confidence, believing, hey, my brain just doesn't work that way to dream, or how to. I don't even know what that means. Like, how would I even put this together? I don't know how to dream. Those are typically the things that hold us back. And we talked about some things to help us start to overcome those hurdles. Finding your uniqueness and seeing your greatness, so important. We talked about Ikigai, which is such a awesome model for, it applies to everything because it's about our reason for being. Like, we get this one life and how to live it most fulfilled and full of meaning. Such a great tool if you haven't checked it out. We talked about the life wheel, which I bring up a lot. My husband and I, David, on our podcast, Addicted to Betterment, talk about the life wheel, which is each of us have, only so much time to dedicate to different roles that we have and the hats that we wear. So some of us are parents, some of us are not parents, some of us are grandparents. So what does that category look like for you? Some of us are married, some of us are single. Some of us are entrepreneurs, some of us are volunteers, but really getting in a clear picture of your life wheel and the different hats that you wear, and then being able to see that to define what is ideal in each area. And then how can I expand to help myself dream? And we also talked about strengths, because it's just so important when we sometimes what hold us back is not believing in ourselves or not thinking that we have something to offer. And we're going to keep on that topic as we head into our episode today on believing we can. So, there is a quote that most of us have probably heard: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford said that quote, and I think it has been circulated around many, many times for great reason, because it's true. Our eyes see what our mind believes. And what does that look like? Well, you get a new car and you have this one color, and you're like, gosh, I never saw it until I got that car. It's just the conscious present awareness that you have because it is in your consciousness. If someone you probably seen these reels on social or as part of like a motivational video, one person is asked to make a fist and then, be able to squeeze it as hard as they can and not move their arm. But then when asked the second time, they are asked to give it all they've got, act as if there's, 1,000 pounds laying on their arm right now. And the difference in how their strength shows up is significantly different because of what the mind did to guide the arm. So, our belief that we can in anything is where our future is going. I want to just start there. But we're going to walk through a number of things to help us believe we can. And last time we talked about the importance of knowing our strengths and our value and using Ikigai to see some clarity and like our meaning for life. I want to go deeper there. And the first thing in believing we can is to know our value. Assessments are great for this. We talked on the last one, the Gallup Clifton Strengths or Strengths Finder is awesome because there's 34 different strengths, and your top 5, it's like 1.3 million chance that you have the same top 5 as someone else or whatever. It's very unique, and my point is all of us have them. And so what can you use as a tool, whether it is strengths, maybe it's the YOS, Y.OS. That's a wonderful one, or DISC or Colby or Myers-Briggs. There's so many different tools out there. Oh, I got to give a shout out for the CVI, the Core Values Index. That's another great one. One of my dear friends, it's her favorite. So, whatever it is, I recommend spending some time with those tools that have data and research behind them that can help take those questions and give you an output where you can spend time really uncovering that unique, that's the word, your unique value and knowing your unique value. The other piece of this that can be really helpful is, knowing your background. You have proof in your background. So you keep track when you look at these things. Maybe you keep it in a journal. Maybe you have LinkedIn recommendations that people have written about you. Maybe you keep your thank you notes in a shoebox and you consistently see the things that others have said about you. Another shout out for why it's so powerful to journal, because you can look back, month over month or year over year and see things and patterns in our lives. And, just the proof is in that background and keeping track. So I would encourage you to reflect back. And if you don't have the journal or the shoebox or whatever, take time and look for themes. Look for, maybe look at the past 5 years and some of these things that just stand out when it comes to, yeah, this is me. Yep, this is me through and through. And this is the value that I add, and this is different and unique. We're looking for that unique value. And I want you to believe in that unique value that you bring because you've got it. Number 2, it is so important to reflect on, be present in who we surround ourselves with. We are the equivalent of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. We've all heard that quote or some version of it. It's true. And it's important to remember that people come into our lives for a reason, very particular initiative, a season. There was a certain period of time or a lifetime. And it's important to look at with the people that you surround yourself with right now. Are these people healthy, uplifting? Are you healthy for them? Are you uplifting them? People give us strength and build us, and we get to borrow the belief that others have in us, people, especially that know us really well. And so, whether people are there to provide that energy boost or people are there to provide the feedback because they really know us. If you've ever done a 360 assessment, that is different than the assessments we talked about here in the beginning. It's when others that know us well go through a feedback process for us to be able to see themes of where we've added value to them, how we are, helping to move them forward, our opportunities for growth and limitations. The people that are closest to us are the most powerful to help us with that, all in a healthy tone. I just want to say that when it is the purpose of this is to help us all get better. It's very different when you've got someone in your life that is constantly giving you feedback to critique you and it is just taking your legs out up from under you. That's a very different thing. So we talked about knowing our value, spending time with assessments, reading those, just really taking a break to understand who we are and our unique value through the assessments, the tools, the journaling, the looking back and reflection. And then looking at who do we surround ourselves with and making sure that these are healthy relationships. And is it time to maybe make a change? Reason, season, lifetime. And sometimes it is important to find space for others that can be a really great win-win relationship to come into our lives. And we're talking about believing we can. We want to surround ourselves with incredible people that help us and we help them to believe they can and uplift us. And it's just important to borrow belief from them and do the same for them, surrounding ourselves with community that supports us to get to these dreams. Let's go into number 3. So, we talked about last time in the first episode, one of the reasons that we get held back or a hurdle is not knowing how to. We need a clarity. We need clarity for a plan. So, what does that look like? Well, planning typically includes laying out the goal or goals. Okay. And then the key objectives. If we thought, okay, the goal is at the top of the staircase, and maybe the staircase is 5 steps or 7 steps. The objectives are the steps. So, what are the steps that are going to help us get to that goal? What all has to be done to get to that goal? Okay. From those steps, what are the, I call it key performance indicators or the habits or, the initiatives that need to be done to accomplish the step? What are the deadlines affiliated with each of these? And how in the heck are we going to celebrate along the way, not just when we reach the top of the staircase? So, clarity of plan. When we can see the plan clearly and we're like, this is a goal, that's super exciting. Okay, this just really breaks down into like 3, 5, or 7 things. And then we're going to talk about what we need to do to accomplish those 3, 5, or 7 things and give deadlines so that we're, time blocking. That's a key one, time blocking for accomplishing this. We're going to celebrate all along the way. And maybe that is with each step or, the step could be an objective. Heck yes. So clarity of a plan is so important. So I want to go back to the most important thing that we can do for ourselves and believing we can is working on our mindset. Our eyes see what our mind believes, whether we think we can or we think we can't, we're right. And so I would encourage you to adopt daily practices that help you aside from reflection and assessments and things that help you find your unique value and surrounding yourself with great people and having a clear plan, those things are our recipe book. The habit, the magic comes from the things that we do every day to build ourselves up to believe we can, to have that mindset of I can, I'm worthy. Let's go. We're gonna do this. Getting really your game face on to be able to do this stuff is just so important. For me, it's part of my morning routine and it's part of my evening routine. So my husband and I together, I feel very fortunate that we do this together is in the morning we spend time during our morning routine. We do gratitude meditations or affirmation or envisioning exercises that are all in meditation, and we also end our day that way. So our bookends of our day are programming our mind, and it's amazing to know what your end of day practice, well, both, but when you're going to sleep, the last few things that you're letting in your mind, even when you're asleep, the things that are running and that your subconscious mind hears is programming your brain. And so the same thing when you start your day in a place that is uplifting and you're filling your brain with good stuff through meditation and prayer and just goodness, there's some magic that happens there. So I would encourage you to build habits of bookending your day to build your mind for really healthy days, to be able to have the best session you can in reflecting on your value and pouring into other people and planning. So excited about where we're going with this. And I believe you can. I believe that I can. And we are going to do some great things. So, overcoming fears, getting clear on the belief system that we have to have in order to get there. All right, we're making things happen, people. See you next time. Thanks for tuning into Working Forward. If you like what you hear, please share it with others and make sure you're following the show to not miss an episode. We are available anywhere you get your audio. See you next time.